the Green Party of New York into a position of power. Gubernatorial candidate Howie Hawkins secured more than 50,000 votes, and in doing so, he grabbed a ballot line for the party for all elections for the next 4 years. Now, this weekend, the National Green Party is holding its biennial convention in upstate New York, and they will focus on bringing a clean energy economy to America. Mr. Hawkins is joining me from Syracuse tonight to preview the event. Howie, thanks very much for being here. It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
So, did the National Party choose New York because of your success in the 2010 governor's race?
That was one of the reasons.
Huh.
You know, New York's a big state, and getting a ballot line was a big step forward for the Green Party nationally.
Yeah, how many states actually have a Green Party ballot line at this point?
I think it's around 22. Mm-hmm. I don't have the exact number with me, but it's around 22, and if we run a presidential candidate, we'll get up into the 40s, somewhere between 45 and 50 by doing petitions.
Right. Well, that's because not every state has rules that are as onerous as New York, and when it comes to getting onto the ballot. Is that right?
Yeah, New York is in the, I'd say, the top 20% of difficulty. There's some states like Oklahoma, and North Carolina, and Georgia that it's near impossible unless you have a lot of money to pay petitioners.
So that's part of what you guys will be discussing when you gather tomorrow, actually. This starts in Alfred, is that correct? At Alfred, that's where this is taking place?
Yes, Alfred University.
Okay. So you'll be talking...
And that's what we'll be talking about.
Yeah, about the presidential race. Are you definitely going to be running a candidate?
I think that's the sentiment. If we can find an adequate candidate, there will be some people thinking about running, and we'll be talking with them. And there's a search going on, and that'll definitely be part of the discussion.
Interesting. Are you looking for a person who just embraces the ideology, or are you looking for a person with name recognition? I mean, there were some folks who at one point were looking at independents like Mayor Bloomberg, who have a lot of money and maybe could pay their way and actually make an impact nationally.
Philosophically, we're not on the same page with Mayor Bloomberg.
Right.
If we could find somebody with name recognition, that's a plus. But the more important thing is somebody who is a good campaigner, can hire and recruit good volunteers to run a solid campaign, and knows how to allocate our limited resources for the maximum benefit.
Right.
So a lot depends on who we run and how well they can run.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, though. In 2000, you see somebody like Ralph Nader, and you worked on his campaigns. You were his New York coordinator at one point. Almost, some people still believe, cost the Democrats the election at a point when Barack Obama has an all-time low in terms of approval and popularity. Don't you think you guys could do more harm than good? What if you make a Republican president? Wouldn't that be completely antithetical to what you want?
Well, I heard Paul Krugman last night call Barack Obama, he called him the latest Herbert Hoover or something like that. His economic policies are very conservative, so you begin to wonder if it would make that much difference. The voters will have to make up their mind on that, you know, whether a vote for the Green is creating a situation where their greater evil may get elected. But the fact is there are real issues that need to be raised. We shouldn't be going into austerity in the midst of a recession that could extend into a long depression with all the demand being pulled out by government cutbacks, the whole austerity program, both state and national level. We're not dealing with one of the things we'll be talking about at our conference, the need to go to a clean energy system and get off fossil fuels and deal with the problem of global warming. The wars have expanded. We have more troops in the Middle East than we did when the Obama administration started. Civil liberties. We don't really know what's in that FISA law that they're now about to adopt 18 months ahead of schedule. Senator Wyden said he thinks there's a secret FISA based on or Patriot Act based on the interpretation of the administration, and they're spying on all of us. So there are real issues that need to be raised. And, you know, voters will have to decide whether they want to vote strategically for the lesser evil or vote for a positive program like the Green Party. But the one thing we want to make sure is that these issues are debated.
Yeah, you know, now thanks to you, as I mentioned at the beginning of this interview, the Green Party has a platform and actually has an automatic ballot line, which means that you don't have to be held to those rigorous standards in terms of petitioning. Will you run again for governor in now it's almost 3 years?
It's way early to talk about who the Greens will run in 2014. I'm running for a local city council seat that I hope, you know, that's my project right now. And we get more local elected officials. We have 3 mayors, about half a dozen town councilors, and some school board members. If we build upon that, then we've got people who are seen as credible by the voters, and then we can run for state office and Congress and be considered credible candidates who could win. And that's really our strategy. Build from the bottom up.
What is your feeling right now about Governor Cuomo since he's been in office for 8 months, almost 8 months?
Well, what we were both saying during the campaign and during that debate, I think is played out. He had an austerity program in terms of spending and taxes. It got implemented, and I think it's going to have dire consequences for our schools and our municipalities and the recovery of our economy. And while people, I think, are giving them high ratings because they actually got a budget done early, they're going to start feeling the pain of that budget, and I think more people are going to see that what we were talking about in terms of progressive tax reform and spending on a Green New Deal to get people back to work and get a clean energy economy is the direction we should go.
You know, just before we run out of time, the president has at least talked about new revenues. He's talked about green energy. He talked about taxing the rich, but the Republicans shut him down, at least in the debt ceiling debate. Do you not think that Obama's making at least the right noises?
That's all it is, noise. I mean, this guy, I think, is really a conservative on economics. Remember, he spoke at the inaugural of the Alexander Project, which Robert Rubin and those deregulatory economists launched in 2006. You read his Audacity of Hope and its effusive praise for Ronald Reagan. I think Obama's doing pretty much what he wanted to. He's a fiscal conservative and never did believe in the stimulus too much. They had to spend some right there, when you know, because we were losing 700,000 jobs a month there when he took office. But you know, the Keynesian economists, the liberal economists who said we need to raise consumer demand said it was half or a third of what was needed. So we stabilized things, but we're not improving. And now he doesn't seem to want to improve. He wants to go with the Republicans on debt and deficit reduction, which is a problem further down the road. Right now, people want jobs.
Okay, so unfortunately we're out of time, but I just give the website in case people are interested. There's going to be some people participating at your conference by Skype, actually, the annual meeting. So if anyone's interested in more information, where can they go?
www.gp.org. GP stands for Green Party. And on the page opens up, you can click on the annual conference icons and find out what's going on and how to get there if you want to come.
Okay, cool. I want to thank you very much, Howie Hawkins. It's good to see you again.
Thank you.